Hey guys, Max from GTN Official here, and today I'm going to be reviewing this W46 Apple Watch clone. So let's start by taking a look around the box. So, on the front we have a picture that is supposed to resemble the Apple Watch Series 6. On this side it says, leading a healthy lifestyle. Here we have some specs. And on the back and other side we have nothing. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the unboxing. Alright, so now that the shrink wrap has been removed, let's go ahead and take this out of the box. Okay, so here's where the watch is supposed to be. Looks like it fell through. So let's take this thing out. And here we have the watch itself. It's upside down right here. We'll get to that in a moment. Inside we have the charger, which actually looks to be a nice little wireless charger that you can just set it on. Lastly, we have a manual that is in Chinese. It's also in English. So, moving the rest of the stuff off to the side, let's go ahead and take a look at the watch. Alright, so, first thing we'll notice is that the watch comes with a Apple Watch replica silicone band, even with the same little dot down here, as you can see. Additionally, it has a similar rotating crown to the real Apple Watch, and what may or may not be a fake heart rate sensor on the back. I guess we'll just have to find out. One more thing before I power this thing on, I'm going to take off the screen protector. So let's get this thing powered up. And there it goes, it vibrated and it looks like it is now on. It's Monday the 31st, which is not the correct day, and it also has an incorrect time, so let's get right into it. So the interface is not very fluid, as you can see. It's running like very slowly. Oh wow, there we have all our apps, and this is kind of imitating the Apple Watch UI. Wonder if turning the crown zooms in and out. Doesn't look like turning the crown does anything, actually. Let's go back to it though. Here we have all our apps. Get into those in a moment. Swiping this way, we have exercises. Alright, so let's start off by taking a look at the control center. So, here's control center. And there is no words under each thing to tell you what it does, and it looks like some buttons don't necessarily do anything. There's your battery level, QR code. What happens if I tap on that? Gives you a QR code. I'm assuming that's to download the app, but I'll check it out in a moment. Here's the info button, alarms, and lastly we have menu style. So right now it's in smart style. What happens if we click on 9 grids? See, this might actually be a bit easier considering that the crown doesn't actually do anything. So let's go and start taking a look at all of these apps. Alright, so first off we have the pedometer. Pretty simple, tells you your steps. Looks like there's nothing else really to it. Clicking that doesn't do anything. Steps, calories burned, kilometers walked. Next up we have sleep tracking. Same idea. So our next little app here is a heart rate sensor. A good easy way to test if it's fake. If I just hold my finger on it, shouldn't be able to read. Let's see if it gets a reading. This graph is clearly fake, but we'll see if the reading is fake. It is giving me a reading from my finger, and what happens if I remove my finger? It's still giving the reading, so this does seem like it is clearly fake. It shouldn't be changing if there's nothing on it. This is not a real heart rate sensor, unfortunately. Next we have the temperature. I don't know how accurate this is going to be, but we'll let it see. It looks like this is fake, just like the heart rate monitor app. Next we have this little O2 icon. And again, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is probably a fake sensor. Next up, we have ECG. This one I can almost guarantee you is fake. Most watches that are in the $200 range don't even seem to have ECG sensors. You got to pay more for that, and considering the price of this thing, I'm going to pretty much guarantee that this is not a real ECG sensor. And the last app on this first page is music. So, assuming that needs to be connected to Bluetooth, so we'll come back to that one. Starting off the next page, we have women's health. I'm assuming this is some sort of menstrual tracker, and as a man, I will not be able to properly test this. Next, we have exercise. Looks like we got a lot of different ones here. Got a good list. Next up, we have weather. 20 degrees and partly cloudy. Let's check if that is true. Unfortunately, it seems like that one is fake as well, as my Galaxy Watch, which is my daily driver for my smartwatch, does say it is 34 and partly sunny. That is pretty far from the number that was given by this Apple Watch knockoff. Then we have, what is this? 1 minute, 2 minute. It's breathing exercises. This is supposed to be stress relief. Oh, it's vibrating. It says inhale. You know, they actually did a pretty good job with the vibration motor, it feels like. It feels pretty sturdy and nice. It does imitate the Apple Watch pretty well, except for the screen seems to be running at just a few frames per second, which is nowhere near as fluid, and this little crown here doesn't actually do anything. But let's move on to the next app. Alright, next we have what looks like an alarm app. There it goes. Alright, no alarms. Alright, next up on the app list we have a stopwatch. Seems to work fine. Again, as you can see, this video is being recorded in 60 frames per second, and the watch is probably moving at 5 or 6. This is kind of horrendous, unfortunately. Next up, we have countdown. Again, probably I'm guessing the same situation. I'll put it on 2 seconds. There it goes, and it's vibrating right now. If I set it on the table, you might be able to hear that. Next up, we have one that I'm definitely going to need to connect to Bluetooth for, but that is notice. No notice. Okay, that's notifications. This is screen brightness. It doesn't actually change that much from the dimmest to the brightest, as you can see here. This is the dimmest and the brightest. Not any major changes, but I'll leave it right in the middle.
Just a quick side note here, the remainder of the apps to be shown are those that were seen in the control center at the beginning of the video, which is why I will be skipping them.
So that covers the features, but how does it feel? So, holding it in my hands, it feels pretty hefty actually. I like the weight of it a lot. It doesn't feel too heavy, not too light. It really doesn't feel all that cheap, to be honest. However, once you look at it, you might start noticing how cheap it is, especially within the software. But, right now I'm going to take off my current watch and put it on and see how it feels. So here it is, and quite honestly, it feels pretty good. I don't have a big issue with how this feels. It is a bit lighter than my Galaxy Watch Active, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not so light to the point where it feels cheap. It honestly feels decently well made, especially the body. You know, for the price, the screen it's not that edge-to-edge type thing, but it curves pretty well. It doesn't go all the way around, but it looks nice for the price. I'm sure it's pretty low quality, but overall, it looks nice, it feels pretty nice, and the body seems to be made well. Alright, so now it's time to test out the Bluetooth features of this device. So I went ahead and got a phone to pair it with, and we're going to find out how they work. So the first thing I'm going to do is scan this QR code, because I'm assuming that goes to the app that is supposed to be used. So I'm heading to that URL now, and let's see where it takes me. Here we go. So I can go to a Google Play download, and here is the app that goes with the watch. So I'm going to install that and get right back to you guys. Alright, so the watch should be all paired up now, so we're going to try and test out some of its Bluetooth functionality. So first off, let's check on message notifications, and we have none, so I'm going to have a message sent to it and see if it comes up. Alright, so I'm going to send a message now. And let's see if it pops up on the watch. And there it is. Next, let's test out Bluetooth music. Let's try and get something playing and see if it works. Alright, so here we have a music video playing, and let's try and play pause. There it goes, it pauses. Let's hit play again. And it plays. And fast forward, it skips to the next video. So it does seem to work pretty much perfectly in this sense. Alright, so now let's test the Find My Phone app. If we click the little search button here, and the phone starts ringing and buzzing. Now the last thing I'm going to test is the accuracy of the pedometer. So I'm going to count out 200 steps, I'm going to take them, and I'm going to see how many it counts out. So let's do that now. Now I actually did end up being at about 10 steps when it started, so it counted about 176 of my 200 steps. But overall, it's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it worked fine enough. In the end, for the price, this is a decent looking, decent feeling, and okay performing Apple Watch clone. It does have a lot of fake apps, from heart rate monitors to ECGs. However, a lot of the apps on it also work pretty well, such as the music control, or the messaging, reading, notifications, and Find My Phone. It's really up to you. If you want the look of the Apple Watch, this thing actually comes pretty close to it. Feels pretty nice and looks kind of decent. If you want the performance of the Apple Watch, this is not for you. There's no app store, so what you see is what you get, and half the apps don't work in the first place. With that said, I want to give a huge thank you to
Wogalon.com
for sending this out to me, and thanks so much for watching. This is GTN Official, signing off.